Good day, podcast community. Pete Kane here, Podcast Pete and certified high performance coach. We have a special guest on our show. He's been for a year behind the scenes running all our live events seamlessly as we deliver our public speakers, our podcast community to have a platform. So, Kevin, thank you so much for being on the show. Tell our viewers who you are, what you do, and who you serve. Then we'll get into our podcast.
So my name's Kevin. I, like Pete said, I do audio, video, and then IT services. But so I met Pete through Grace Church in
Mhm.
Kennesaw, where I do all the audio, video streaming for our church services. And then when you were starting your live events, you came to me because I know the system. And yeah, it's been great working with you. And
Likewise. Yeah, tell, I mean, because I'm a little bit older, I'm 68, so I didn't grow up with this stuff. So I always lean into people younger. And at what stage, when did you start getting interested in the technical side, the IT, the streaming, and what you're doing now?
so I started doing the uh, audio video stuff when I was 13
Hmm.
at Grace Church. So I've been doing it for about 18 years now.
Hmm.
Um, and then IT, like I've always been the guy that would take stuff apart and could usually put it back together. Not always. Uh, and I just have always been interested in the tinkering. And
Yeah.
uh, you know, my first full-time job was working on arcade games and uh, like building stuff and figuring
Hmm.
that kind of stuff out. And then a few years ago, I went to school for cybersecurity and got a
Hmm.
associate's degree in cybersecurity with a focus on networking.
Well, all those are, I know streaming is popular with us because that's what we do. And every system seems to have their own fingerprint on it. And it's not like, I remember when I first came, this was probably 6 months ago, and we were putting up the program together. And I failed to tell you that we were going to stream somebody from out of town. And you were like, oh, it'd been nice to tell me. I said, yeah. Could have been, but you figured it out, and you went through all these different hoops and jumping, and I don't know what you did. So, how do you approach like these surprises? I mean, do they challenge you, or give our viewers an idea of the unexpected?
Uh, yeah. So just after years of doing it, I think I work pretty well under pressure.
Hmm.
Um, starting as again a teenager, uh, you make a mistake, everyone kind of looks at you. Now it's a small church. There's only back in the day there were only maybe 40 or 50 people that would look at you, but still,
Hmm.
it's kind of you feel the pressure, and uh, so just over the years I've learned to adapt to that pressure to where I kind of do pretty well under it. Um, so in some ways I do better under the pressure of that kind of thing than not having the pressure. I am also a master procrastinator. So you know, in procrastination, you kind of get pretty good at figuring stuff out last minute.
Yeah. Well, I heard somebody say that procrastination is not what everybody kind of thinks about. Like, we don't want to do something, but and I'm the same way in this regard is I need deadlines. I need to force deadlines. And when you're live streaming and you can't like pull out a owner's manual and try to figure it out. You got to figure it out right then, right there. So how do you handle like when you first were thrown into it at 13 and you're trying to figure this out, was the first couple times awkward, or can you give our viewers a little idea of that early journey?
Uh, yeah, if I can remember that far back. So yeah, I mean, it's always a little nerve wracking, and awkward, and even uh, in the church space at the big events, Christmas and Easter. Um, I'll still to this day feel the pressure and the kind of the deadline there, when something's not quite right 3 minutes
Yeah.
before service is about to start. But uh, yeah, when you know all eyes are on you because something's not working, it definitely still feels awkward, and um, so
I know, like you, we were sharing this. I think was either the last live event we're doing. Your activity, you have like not four wheeling, but you do that kind of like where you get in situations where you're exploring the unknown and you get stuck. And I remember seeing your car and like the wheels are up. Do you like, since you've been used to that? Does that give you kind of a dopamine rush? Do you like that kind of atmosphere where you're challenging yourself to things that you haven't experienced, and and then you say, "I'm going to figure it out"?
yeah. So I guess you could always say I've always kind of been an adrenaline junkie.
Yeah.
Uh, my hobbies include off-roading and mountain biking and rappelling off cliffs.
Hmm.
So, that adrenaline fix, or I'm not chasing it, but uh, you know, when it comes to doing that, I love that and trying to figure out new situations. When
Well,
when there's something
mhm.
you've never encountered before, and you can walk in and kind of study it, figure it out, and fix the problem. I love that. I thrive on that.
Yeah, I've done a number of podcasts on it. Is the three things I think the skills of the future are critical thinking, puzzle solving. It's kind of like everything's a puzzle and you got to figure it out. And then those meaningful relationships. Let's just throw back to the relationship part. How has your involvement with Grace and those relationships you have at church, what's that like for people that have, they've never really participated in the community? What could you share with them how it's meant to you?
Uh, yeah. So all of my closest friends, uh, closest relationships are somehow connected back to Grace. Um,
Mhm.
excuse me, whether that's I met them through Grace, or uh, I've brought them to Grace. They all somehow connect back, um, and including you know discipleship groups that we do at the
Mhm.
church. Um, I've been leading the discipleship groups for 5 years now, 6 years now. Uh,
Mhm.
Countless groups, um, probably 40 different guys that I've been in close community with, uh, intimate community with.
What would you say? Because you're younger than I am, and I see it in my world, having been around for 68 years, that creating feeds us. Consumption can kind of send us on a different path. How do you balance like the social media, the TikTok world, the consumption world with creating what you're doing? Because you're always solving problems, creating, critical thinking. How do you balance it to be able to get that right amount of creativity in what you do?
So I like to say that I'm not the creative type. I'm the problem solver. Tell me what you want, and I can make it happen.
Okay.
Uh, but in that, I also find the creative solutions to problems. Um,
Hmm.
and part of that's, we're a small church. We don't have a big budget to just throw money at a problem. So I'm pretty good at finding the frugal solution to problems. And you have to
Yeah.
kind of be creative to figure out that frugal solution. Um, but I try to stay off of social media. I'm not on TikTok or Facebook or X or Twitter or whatever it's called now. Um,
Hmm.
I try to. I will still watch YouTube videos. I love YouTube, but yeah, I try not to consume too much of the world. Uh,
Hmm.
I try to feed from scripture or community. One of my
Hmm.
favorite ways to spend time with people is just playing board games.
Yeah.
That's what we do because anyone can play video games. But you know, when you're actually in person with someone in the moment, no phone or use your phone just to look up a quick rule real quick. But uh, you know, actually in person, face to face, have a real conversation with someone over a board game. I find that feeds me pretty well.
Yeah, I would agree. I love cards and board games, and it is kind of feeding the creative side because I think of video games as media. I don't really distinguish between TV and video games because you are participating and consuming media. What would you say, as a board game and liking board games, what are your two favorite board games that you like to play?
That's such a hard question. We play so many. The one we're playing most often now, and as I say all of that, we're playing it as a video game for convenience. So it's on the computer, but we jump on a phone call, the three of us that are playing.
Hmm.
So it's not face to face, but we're still on a phone call the whole time. So we've been playing a game called Gloomhaven, um,
Hmm.
which is a big campaign game. Um, and then uh, there's one based on a TV series called Avatar: The Last Airbender that we've played quite a bit this year. Um,
Hmm.
so Aang's Destiny is the name of the game. So I really enjoy that one.
Awesome. I have a friend that he was chess in high school, really good, and he played a person he hadn't played it in 25 years or 20 years, and he has four daughters, and so he's now going to teach me how to be a chess player. I've always admired that how that strategy and thinking is. Have you ever leaned into chess, or is that something have been exposed to in your
Uh,
life?
so I played a decent amount of chess with my dad uh,
Hmm.
throughout my teenage years when I would visit his house. Um,
Hmm.
Took a hiatus from it for many years, and then played a fair amount earlier this year. Uh, and then I enjoy chess. It just depends.
Yeah. Yeah. I would always see, and I had a friend that we spoke at the same event. He taught high schoolers how to play chess, and it really helped their critical thinking. And I kind of always in the back of my mind said, I want to learn it one day. And so, I'm going to start leaning into it. So maybe before a live event, we can have a chess match.
You'll have
So
to bring the board. I don't have one.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'd have to borrow a board or something because I don't have one either. I've got checkers, but I don't have, but totally different. So, how do you like when you look into this new world of AI and it's really changing things rapidly? How would you like, what are you thinking when it comes to live streaming? What are you trying to be aware of, and how are you using it in what you know best right now?
Um, so it's a great question. I haven't looked at AI too much in the world of live streaming. Um,
Hmm.
mo- I've been using ChatGPT in the process of starting my business, using ChatGPT for a lot of that. And even just, you know, today I had ChatGPT summarize what's going on in the world for a, 5-minute catch up.
Hmm.
Um, so, but in the world of live streaming, or I know in the world of content creation in general, um, as I've started putting some videos on YouTube of off-roading trips, um, letting AI kind of analyze the video, see what kind of changes I can make to make it more appealing, or using AI to kind of generate ideas for how you should create the next video.
Hmm.
Um, so, in the world of content creation, it can be great because it can analyze such big data sets. It can
Hmm.
kind of look at what's trending, look at what's popular in the space that you are trying to create in. So, if you're an automotive guy, it will look at the big automotive channels, Donut and back in the day, Hoonigan, but and see what they're doing, see what has been popular, see
Hmm.
what videos are getting views and what videos aren't, and kind of point you in the right direction on how you can get views. Because in content creation, it's all about the views.
Yeah. Those eyeballs matter. When I was my first PT I went to, there was interns, and this guy was probably late 20s, maybe early 30s, and he introduced YouTube Premium to me. I didn't even know it existed. For about 3 days, my subscription expired, and I got exposed to all the ads that most people see, and I literally blew my brain. It's like, shoot me, I can't handle these ads. So I do, ad free without the exception, with the exception of people do personal, but I don't have the typical YouTube. So YouTube ads. I want you to speak because I think we share the same. I'm always, that's where I get my information is YouTube. You know,
Yeah.
I I I put it on like 1.5, sometimes 2x speed to get what I'm interested in. So tell our viewers, like from your being younger and really leaning into learning on YouTube, what is that helped you in your growth or your like journey in IT and learning all the things? How do you use YouTube that you could share with our viewers?
Yeah. So I think YouTube is great. You can learn anything on YouTube. Um, from learning how to fix your car to learning uh watching a guy set up a network, and you know if you're wanting to learn more of the ethical hacking side of cybersecurity,
Hmm.
um Network Chuck is a great channel to watch.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, you can learn anything. So you need to learn how to remove a virus from a computer. There's a
Hmm.
YouTube video on that. Trying to figure out why your Ubiquity network is on the fritz. There's probably a YouTube video diving into Ubiquity settings.
Hmm.
Um, They, earlier this year, when I was trying to solve a network issue for someone, I was called in after the fact. I didn't set up the network, but they were having the issue and um, called me to try to fix it. I was using Chat GPT and like, here's everything that I've got going on. How do I fix it? I was using YouTube videos. This is what I'm trying to do. Oh, there's a
Hmm.
video right there of a guy doing that in a home lab environment instead of a live production environment. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's a video or a resource for just about everything.
Yeah, there's I'm reaching for something here. So Jeff, your brother-in-law, like this is probably about a year and a half ago. He was using this. I can see you have it. A lot of people have it, but a lot of people don't know about it. And it's hands free for me. It goes. Never liked the iPods that would fit in your ear. They'd always fall out. They'd be in
Yeah,
the driveway, and I would lose one. And I just, they're not inexpensive, so I would hate when I lose it. Tell our viewers, because I always tell people about these things. How do you like? Because Jeff was just, I was amazed that he had it on and he showed me how it worked. I've had people stop me in airports and ask me about it. How has that helped you to kind of listen and do, like somebody that doesn't know anything about this technology? Could you share with our viewers a little bit about it?
yeah. So I'm not wearing my bone conduction right now. These are my
Okay.
in ears, but
Okay.
um, I discovered them through YouTube. Actually, I discovered them like 15 years ago. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
always thought they were cool. Always wanted them. This is before they were wireless. You still had to
Mm-hmm.
charge them, but they plugged into your phone. Um, and I just never could afford them back then. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward as I started getting into mountain biking and um, trying to be more active. I hated wearing the ones that stick in your ears. One, they fall out. Two, they block out all the other sound. So if
Mm-hmm.
I'm riding on a trail, I can't hear someone coming up behind me for me to move over. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so one of the couple of the different YouTube channels I watched, um, they were mountain bike racers, and they had them, and they were able to wear them while they were racing because
Yeah.
again, they're still environmentally aware. Um, so it kind of rediscovered them for me, and
Mm-hmm.
I picked up a pair and love them. They're my primary headphones,
Yeah.
but these were easier to pair to my computer.
Yeah, I've never figured out. I wear them all day long because at first you have to get used to the rub on the temple, but after that, I just never take them off because they're so. One, I probably would lose them, but two is they're just part of just keeping them on. So if something I want to voice command or whatever, I can use and it's hands free and it's the best.
Well,
So
oftentimes out and about, even if I'm not wearing them, you'll see them around my neck.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. So what like as you look, into the streaming world, I want to circle back to that. What excites you the most when you see like the world is like changing fast, streaming is a big part of it. You're seeing more people create streaming videos, more people using it for live events. What are you excited about as you embark on the future and see streaming as part of that future?
So one thing that's interesting about streaming is the speed at which you can get a video out.
Hmm.
Um, because you can stream live instantly, people can watch it, and as soon as you're done, it's just lives on YouTube. You can do some post processing, but most of the time with streaming, you don't have to do much post processing. Whereas if you go to shoot a video, uh, you shoot it and then you edit it, and then you have to render it and upload it, and now for a 5 minute, or a 20-minute reaction video, something that is going on now, you just spent 3 hours, 4 hours producing this video, and you can sometimes almost miss the window of what you're trying to comment on. Um, but then on the event side of streaming, I think it just makes it accessible to more people. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so at Grace Church, the reason we started live streaming is the reason a lot of churches started live streaming is
Mm-hmm.
COVID during 2020.
Yeah.
Um, so when COVID first struck, we were recording our videos and I was editing them, and we would put them out. We would sort of pseudo live stream them at
Mm-hmm.
service time, in which we would have a live host on video, kind of welcoming people, talking to people, and then at the right time we would hit play, and the uh, pre-recorded video of the little bit of music and sermon would play,
Mm-hmm.
but it was still pre-recorded. Uh, as soon as we were able to get back in uh, back in person, there were still plenty of people that uh, from the more delicate uh, parties, like older people, demographics, more delicate
Mm-hmm.
demographics that weren't capable or comfortable coming back in person. That live streaming was essential. Uh, so I think it opens up the availability for people.
Yeah, it's I was listening to I have a couple podcasts I listen to regularly, and this person had a guest on, and the guest said something like, what where are you spending your time, and what are you doing in your business since the last time we talked?" And it was like, I think, a year. And he said, "I'm live streaming more than I ever have because it's faster and I can get my message out there." And he was in Thailand doing this, that he was talking about that. And I think, to your point, is it does take a while to edit things and do all the normal stuff, but live is live. And people now can go to one YouTube channel and two Facebook, and they can see this, they can comment, they can engage. So it's so much faster. And yeah, we can create podcasts out of it. But if you're looking for, and I just picked up something when you said you want chat to give you the summary of what's going on in the world. I think that's excellent way to use it, because there's so much information coming at us. If we can't protect our brain from an overload, then we can get to the point where it is information overload. So what would you, as we wind down, I want our viewers to, one, be able to reach out to you, because you've been so valuable to me that I don't have to figure it out when it comes to this stuff. Not that I could, because I don't know the system, but I sometimes will, just like you played around with a wireless mic with me, and now I'm working with wireless mics to bring podcasting on the move. And you just go through the process of teaching me, helping me learn those things. If I don't have somebody like yourself, I'm stuck in the mud. So how can people get a hold of you so we make sure people don't get stuck in the mud?
Yeah, so you just put my website on the screen there. There's a contact form there that'll send to my email. Otherwise, the phone number on the screen rings
Hmm.
directly to my cell phone, and I usually answer unless I'm otherwise occupied with another project. Um,
Hmm.
but leave a message, and I'll be sure to call you back, or send a text message to that phone number. Um, because it's 2025 and we're all afraid to talk on the phone. So, I love text messages.
Awesome. Yeah, it's. I don't know that I check email more than once every couple of days. So if they don't text me, they don't get me. So okay.
Well,
So as
e-
we,
email comes to my phone, so it'll pop up, and I see it pretty
yeah.
instantly.
Yeah, we all have our generation gets overwhelmed by a lot of that stuff, so we kind of tend not to do it. So, what would you say as we wind down? What would you want our viewers, the one thing to take home from our podcast today? What would it be?
Uh, yeah, I mean, you and I have talked about this. Don't be afraid to reach out to someone with more knowledge than you in a
Mhm.
particular field. Um, you know, I'm not an accountant. I'm going to reach out to an accountant for financial advice. You're not an IT person, so you're going to reach out to an IT person for technical advice. Um, so you know, you could figure it all out. Um,
Mhm.
but is your time more valuable than getting a little bit of help? What time or pride?
Yep. Yeah, that's true because I was spending 35 to 40 minutes trying to figure out something on my phone, and my granddaughter came over, and she's 11. She figured it out in 5 seconds. So
Yeah.
I could spend 30 minutes, 40 minutes trying to figure it out, or I could get somebody that knows it and do it in 5 seconds. So I think that's the difference. If you can figure it out eventually, but how much time does it take you to figure that out? And if you're of my age, you could spend all day long trying to figure it out. So, Kevin, we appreciate you being with us. And I want to encourage our viewers share this video with somebody that you think can benefit from Kevin's knowledge, expertise, and the ability to help you, whether it's in podcasting or live streaming or IT. You always want to lean into people that are experts at what they do. And Kevin is definitely an expert in these areas. So if you value your time, have him help you and he can do that for you. So Kevin, thank you so much for being on our podcast, and I always leave my podcast, be bold,